Hello everyone, Tim again here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you another one of my Dota 2 hero guides. Now the aim of this series is to introduce you guys to Dota. It's a free game available on Steam and hopefully teach you a little bit about the game, a few new heroes, and hopefully get you playing, because it is, like I mentioned, completely free to play and there's no invite system anymore, because before you had to be invited to the game by a current player, so if you didn't have a friend who played it you were sort of screwed. But now great news is you can just go straight on and play, so that's a fantastic thing. And today, as you can see on the screen, I am playing Tiny. Now one thing I just wanted to quickly check actually before I get started on the commentary is this guy's starting item build, and you'll see why this is important in a little bit. Just want to see how many clarities he buys. Only one, never mind. Okay, right, Tiny is a really fun hero. He's a carry hero, so this is the guy you'll often get seen sent to the safe lane, which on the Radiant side is bottom. Gets super scary late game if he gets a little bit of farm. And this is a really good example of that. You know, I start off with a tinily dodgy start in lane. You know, we make a few mistakes early on. The communication between me and the Abaddon isn't fantastic, but from there I get a really solid start and I end up having a fantastic game with Tiny. So let's talk a little bit about the hero. As you can see, he's a tiny little rock dude, and you know, hence the name Tiny. His first skill is called Avalanche, and this is basically a cone duration. You have a look at it. That's the range you can throw it at, and what it does, it basically causes a ripple of rocks to appear in front of you. And the great thing about this is it stuns. Now it stuns for a duration of 1 second when it hits the target. So if it hits you, you are stunned for 1 second. But the great thing is this spell actually lasts a second as well. So it works out as a 2-second stun. Now this is an AoE stun, so it's very useful in team fights as well as in the laning stage. And I'm very late on that last hit there. It's a great way to stun multiple enemies, and it synergizes really well with your second skill, which is Toss. And I'll get onto that in a second, but one thing I just wanted to quickly mention is, did you see how much harassment I was getting landed on by that Crystal Maiden there? You know, Crystal Maiden did a really good job in the laning stage of harassing me down, and this is a pretty terrible offlaner. You never see Crystal Maiden get put in the offlane. You know, they had quite a poor team composition, to be honest. Not sure what they were doing in this game, but you know, Crystal Maiden made the best of it. And what Abaddon should be doing here is, because you can see he's actually, if I just go to free camera for a second, he's spending a lot of time wandering around here, accomplishing very little. What he should be doing is sitting in lane and helping me. He should be throwing a shield on me. He should be throwing his mist coil, which he should level up at level 2. You know, what we're seeing here is me take a lot of unnecessary damage, and the great thing about having an Abaddon support normally is that he can keep your carries in lane for much longer than they would normally go. And you can see there, I used the Avalanche, hit the cone effect, did a bit of damage on this Crystal Maiden, and used it to try and get a last hit that I otherwise wouldn't have got under the tower, because that's a little bit too risky for me to dive that deep. So I spent a bit of mana to do a little bit of hero damage and try and get a last hit. And you saw how Avalanche works. It's a ripple effect in the cone in front of you, and the stun sort of rolls out from there. So that's the first skill. Let's move on to Toss now. Toss is a really fun skill. What it does, as you can see from the description, it grabs a random unit, friendly or enemy, with a 275 radius around Tiny, which is about that much. You know, 275 isn't a big distance on this, and he throws it at the targeted enemy. Now this is absolutely hilarious. This grabs anyone. You know, it can be the cause of quite a lot of, you know, arguments in team. If Tiny, for example, grabs a friendly hero and throws him to doom, which I've had several times than before. One of my friends was playing Tiny, and we were fountain diving at the end of the game, which admittedly is not the best thing to do, and he threw me into the enemy fountain and ruined the flawless game because of it, and I was a little bit disappointed with that, as you can probably tell. But you know, it's a very good ability to synergize with Avalanche. And the reason for why this is, as you can see at the bottom here, if the tossed unit is an enemy, they gain extra damage. So what you're looking to try and do is use Avalanche to stun them. There's the toss, for example, did a lot of damage there. Use that to try and get a bit of CS. But what you can do with this is you can Avalanche someone first and then throw someone, and they actually take bonus damage if they get thrown when they're being hit with an Avalanche. So it's very good to synergize with your entire team. And again, you know, Abaddon here, little bit low on mana. What he should have done really is come to lane with a lot more mana regen. So he's burnt his last clarity already, and you can see here Now, I was expecting him to have a lot more regen than this. I've popped myself. After this, I've only got one tango left. The whole point of a support Abaddon, and the reason why he's such a good support, is because he has so many abilities which enable you to keep friendly units in the game. You know, you have a heal ability, you have a shield protection ability. You know, very, very useful stuff to do. But you can see here, Crystal Maiden is just working me down here, because we've got 2 melee guys in lane. Crystal Maiden, she's being pretty ballsy on quite low health, but she can see that I don't really have any mana for anything. I've only just got the mana up for one of my 2 spells, and I probably need both of them to land to kill her, especially now that she's healed up. And this was forcing me to play incredibly passive. So I was sitting back here thinking, oh, Abaddon will shield me, Abaddon will heal me, etc, etc. I walk up to the last hit, not walk up to the last hit. But I walk up to get a few last hits, and I end up getting killed in a little bit here. And this is the major problem here, the lack of communication. And you saw there, Abaddon actually burnt his mist coil. That's clicking on me. He burnt his mist coil offensively there, when really he should be saving this to heal me, because there's no way he was going to kill Crystal Maiden there. And I thought, oh, Abaddon will heal me and shield me here. And actually, I think this is where I die. I die pretty soon here. Can't see CM on the map, which is a problem. I'm a little bit too close to the creep wave here. And I'm still thinking, Abaddon's going to heal me here. I'm fine, I'm fine. All of a sudden, oops, I've taken a lot of damage and I'm dead. And this is absolutely brainless. This should never, ever happen in lane. You know, a Tiny and an Abaddon should not give up kills to a solo Crystal Maiden off lane. This was just complete and utter lack of communication. You know, I should have probably gone back to base there, but I thought that Abaddon had more health and more mana than he did. And in fact, Abaddon actually gets sniped by Nature's Prophet here. So that was just an incredibly bad start to the lane. A really bad start. We've got a Bloodseeker transitioning. Bloodseeker got destroyed mid by Legion Commander, I think. Legion Commander's just pretty much won the lane. So Bloodseeker's coming bottom to pressure the tower now. So we have basically given up a kill in lane. Then we gave up a kill to the Nature's Prophet. Then we had a tower push come on, had a little bit of damage chipped away at our tower. Pretty bad start to the game. And this is a really, really bad thing here. But the great news is, because Legion Commander absolutely stomped Bloodseeker, we managed to get the kill. And you saw the Avalanche toss combo come in very, very nicely there. I avalanched first, then threw, I think it was a creep I threw in the end, threw an enemy or a friendly creep at Bloodseeker for the bonus damage, and then I just marched in with Abaddon's shield. They started attacking me, the shield popped, did the AoE damage, and then we got a very, very easy kill. And this is why Abaddon and Tiny are quite good to synergize together, because Tiny's pretty slow at the start, and like you saw earlier, he can take a lot of damage from ranged harass. But the great thing with Abaddon is, you saw, he immediately popped his shield on me when he saw me going aggressive, and then once the fight was over, he popped his mist coil to heal me, and look, I'm already at full health. We've scared Nature's Prophet away. Here comes Legion Commander, ready to put his foot up his backside, I think. Is he going to get away? He just gets away. But you see, now all of a sudden, we're back in the lane. Got myself a kill. Let's have a look at the XP per minute. See, 279, it's not fantastic. Crystal Maiden's had a lot more, so she's over leveled, which is never a good thing. But you know, in a 1v2 situation, you're always going to be sharing. It's not a massive problem. And let's have a look at the net worth. See, that net worth bumped me up a long, long way. You know, I'm up to 3rd in the team now. I'm now up to mid-table. That kill was really, really useful in giving me a little bit of a head start, because you know, Tiny is a hero who you need to snowball. You know, you really need to have a good start and to get early kills, because you know, whilst you have good team fight ability here, and this was a really, really funny fail from Nature's Prophet. He teleported from there to there and got mowed. That always makes me laugh whenever I see a Nature's Prophet do that. But let's go back to the player perspective now, because we've got a bit of a fight going on. And see, just absolutely destroyed here. And this is the great utility with Tiny, and what makes Tiny a really, really effective hero, in my opinion. And you see a lot of carries who require other heroes to set them up for kills. So the main carries that fall into this bracket are people like Anti-Mage, you know, the Medusas. They have no lockdown whatsoever. So while they're particularly good at chasing, especially like an Anti-Mage who can blink after the heroes that they're chasing, they don't have any way to really slow them down unless they have items, or you know, unless they have teammates there to help them out. Tiny has a stun, a 2-second stun, which does 300 magic damage, which is a big nuke at level 4. And then you have Toss, which does another 300 magic damage. which it does even more if you synergize them both. So you could be doing 700-800 magic damage to someone, then following up with a big right click. And this is a great thing about Tiny as well. Tiny has a lot of base damage, and you can punch a guy down in a 1v1 very, very easily. So Tiny is a pretty good laning carry, especially when you've got a support like Abaddon. Once again, you saw, healed me back up, and now I'm pretty fine. So those are the first two skills. The second skill, Toss. Let's move on to Craggy Exterior. Now, Craggy Exterior is another very, very useful skill, and what it actually does, it's a passive, and the more you level it up, the greater chance the enemies attacking you have to be stunned. And this is a very, very useful trait again, because what it enables you to do is basically walk up to someone, and I think the range of Craggy Exterior is quite small. Yeah, it's only 300. So anyone in this area attacking me, creeps or enemy heroes or neutrals, has a chance to be stunned when they're attacking me. And as you can see, at level 4, it's a 25% chance to stun for 1.5 seconds. So you have your first ability, Avalanche, which can stun for a maximum of 2 seconds. And then you have your Craggy Exterior, which again can give a 1.5 second stun to enemy heroes attacking you. You have the potential to land a 3.5 second stun by yourself with no support whatsoever. As well as this, the stun, it does a little bit of damage, 55 damage. It's not a huge amount, but it's pretty nice. And it's just very, very useful to make you incredibly tanky. So all of a sudden, you are very, very powerful against right-click attack. So it's just a great ability to keep Tiny alive in fights, because you'll see a lot of heroes, especially melee heroes. Tiny is a fantastic counter to melee heroes, because they will come up and right-click him, and every 4 attacks, they'll stun themselves. And Tiny does absolutely ridiculous damage. Just look, I have brown boots, I've got a Hand of Midas, I have got no damage abilities whatsoever, or damage items, and I'm already right clicking for 141 damage. That is an insane amount of damage. And the reason why you get so much right click with Tiny is because of his ultimate, and his ultimate is called Grow, and it is very, very unique in the Dota universe. You don't see any ultimates really like this. And what Grow does for you is, whenever you level it up, Tiny actually increases in stature. So he gains bonus damage, he gains bonus movement speed, he gains bonus damage to his toss as well, don't forget. So, that 300 magic damage is already getting more. And this comes at a little bit of a cost. As you can see, the second one down. I don't know why this keeps getting minimized, but there you go. Attack speed loss 20. So at the first level, you get a minus 20 attack speed, then you get a minus 35 attack speed, and minus 50 at the maxed out. So this is really, really key to playing Tiny. You do not want to level your ultimate too early. What I normally like to do is max both Avalanche and Toss before I pick up my first level of the ultimate, because this maximizes the magic damage I can do. You saw in that fight earlier, because I got all of this magic damage available to me, Tiny is a fantastic solo killer. He can 1v1 heroes really, really well. He does so much magic damage. It really is pretty frightening for a carry to do this much this early. So the great news is, by doing this skill move, I'm not really taking too much hit from my attack speed loss, because it makes it a lot more difficult to last hit and get some farm with a slow attack speed, whilst at the same time I'm maximizing my magic damage by doing this. So this is the way I prefer to build Tiny. Max Avalanche first, then probably max Toss, then get your ultimate once they're both level 4. And from there, the main thing to Tiny is to build attack speed and damage. Like I mentioned, Grow, the major downside to Grow, and you can see here, man mode, boom. Such an easy kill on Nature's Prophet there. Prophet thought he was going to kill me. I just absolutely mowed him, and I pop my one for a little bit of mana. Abaddon heals me back up, and I don't even have to leave the lane. I missed that last hit there, but I get the Midas on the creep, and I can just sit in lane. And this is why Abaddon, I think, is such a good support, because he keeps hard carries in lane when otherwise they would have had to go back to base. So Abaddon, in my eyes, is one of the best supports, especially at a lower level. At a pro level, you'll see supports like Crystal Maiden get picked up, Venomancer get picked up before, Disruptor now with the change to his ultimate. But at low levels, heals are incredibly powerful. Just look, he's Arcane's boots me, he's cast Mist Call on me a couple of times, and the enemy are actually coming to gank me here. But look, I'm already at full health and I've got enough mana for a combo. See, I hit the avalanche, then he hits a miscoil. I'm trying to land the toss. Few misclicks here. Toss, boom, Pudge tries to ult me, right click, he dies, and then I get away. You know, I got 2 kills there. That would not have happened without Abaddon, and this looks incredibly bad for me. But fortunately, Slark comes in and saves my backside, and I get away. And this is why Tiny is absolutely frightening in lane, especially when compared, or combined, sorry, with an Abaddon. Because I stayed in lane there. If I didn't have an Abaddon, I would have been half health and would have had no mana there. But instead, I was at 85% health and I had about 200 mana, which got me 2 more kills. And now I'm sitting at 5, 1, and 2. I'm top of the net worth chart at 6,100 at 14 minutes in, you know, which is not bad at all. Let's have a look at my GPM. You know, 417 GPM at this stage is very, very nice indeed. And it's just frightening how good Tiny is. You begin to see just how good a hero Tiny is with just a little bit of support early on now. Right, let's talk about item builds. Like I mentioned briefly earlier, the main thing you want to get on Tiny is attack speed. Attack speed is absolutely huge on Tiny because, like I mentioned, every time you level up Grow, you will begin to attack slower. So it's no use hitting for 170, 180 at this stage of the game if you punch someone once every 25 seconds. And the first major item I went for here, and see, I just burned a bit of mana to get the last hits there so we can begin to pressure the tower. The first main item I went for here is Hand of Midas. Now, Hand of Midas is a relatively expensive item. You know, it's recently been increased in price. You know, the recipe's been buffed. Recipe's been nerfed, sorry, because it was a very, very common thing to see. And hang on, we've got a little bit more fights going on here. How easy was that for a kill? How easy? I didn't even have to cast Toss there. I could just cast Avalanche and right-click him down, and he died. But the great thing about Hand of Midas, before we were so rudely interrupted by that suicidal Nature's Prophet, it gives you bonus attack speed. So even with the level 1 Grow, I'm still on a positive attack speed game. And the great thing with Hand of Midas is it gives you regular, reliable farm. And this is the absolutely key thing with Tiny and, you know, strength heroes in general. Strength carries, you know, they don't carry as hard as agility carries, by and large, as a rule. This is because agility carries gain increased armor, increased attack speed every time they get a point of agility. Strength carries gain increased damage and increased hit points. So you might think that's a better change, you know, a better thing to have than the increased agility, but in practice it isn't. You know, agility carries always do more. And look at Tiny's agility gain; it is pretty horrendous. Yeah, absolutely horrendous. I've only got 19 agility at level 13. So he has absolutely horrific attack speed. And you do need this attack speed to be useful on Tiny. So the Midas definitely fills that in. And it also gives you the fast levels, you know. Every time you use this on a creep, it gives you 2.5 times the experience. So ideally, what you want to do is use it on the biggest jungle creeps out there. So you get all that additional experience and level faster. Because the faster you level, the faster you can get your craggy exterior maxed out, the faster you get your pretty pathetic agility gain up, because every level really does make a difference with Tiny when you've got all of the skills this useful. And you can really begin to improve pretty drastically. And you see that I just used the Midas on the small camp here. Probably should have saved it for the large camp, but I just wanted to keep it regularly moving. So Midas, I normally go brown boots into Hand of Midas whenever I play Tiny in the lane where I'm doing well. If I'm doing badly, I might get a drums first and skip the Midas. Drums again, very, very useful, because it gives you aura move speed and aura attack speed. So again, attack speed, it gives you bonus attributes, 9 to all attributes, so it gives you agility for more attack speed. You're beginning to see the, you know, the theme here. It's so important to get attack speed on Tiny, because you see, even though I've got level 2 ultimate now, which is a minus 35 attack speed, I'm still punching relatively quickly here. And I've got phase boots up, phase boots again, movement speed, damage. Tiny's a relatively slow hero, so having the ability to pop the phase boots active to scoot around the map quicker, position yourself for your abilities, it's very, very useful to have. And it's also useful just for jungling. You see, I pop the phase boots to get between the jungle camps quicker, keep maximising my farm. Because the major item you always want to build on Tiny, always, you know, it's a core item, and it's very, very rare to see this as a core item on most heroes, is Aghanim Scepter. Now, you see Aghanim Scepter get bought on a wide number of heroes, but usually as a luxury item. So you buy a couple of core items, and depending on the game, situationally, you'll pick up an Aghanim Scepter. Personally, I will buy, and I recommend you should buy, Aghanim Scepter on Tiny every single game, and this is because of the pretty fantastic effects it gives to you. If you read his ultimate here, look at the Scepter bonus at the bottom. It gives you bonus range, it gives you cleave damage, it gives you bonus building damage, and it gives you additional toss damage. So it makes your nukes so much more powerful, gives you more magic damage. It gives you cleave to your right click, so yeah, I'm gaining 50% cleave when I pick up Aghanim Scepter, so I'll be cleaving for about 115 damage at the 20-minute mark, which is pretty frightening, because you can see, yeah, I'm nearly at my Aghanim Scepter already here. It's only 300 gold away, and once I have that, you know, the cleave, the range, the additional magic damage is huge. And let's just have a look at the GPM here. Now, net worth, I'm top by 1.2k. GPM, it's now over 500. You know, this is why Tiny is absolutely terrifying if you let him snowball. Yeah, I'm already sitting at 6 kills 20 minutes in, and for most carries this is not likely to happen. If you look at someone like a Phantom Lancer, or if you look at someone like an Anti-Mage, they need so much setup to get those kills. I've got several of the kills solo, you know, stunning, and you see the enemy team begin to you know, troll and moan at each other now. You know, this is the Nature's Prophet that teleported to the wrong place in lane to feed, and then teleported to try and solo an Abaddon and a Tiny and fed again, and now he's the one trolling all of his teammates. I'm not sure about that, but you know, you see, Tiny has the potential to snowball a lot harder than many other carries out there, because he has that magic damage, he has the ability to, you know, get a Hand of Midas, because the Hand of Midas is a really good item on Tiny. A lot of times you see people just get a greedy Midas or a catch-up Midas, but for me, I'd go as far to say, well, I wouldn't say it was a core item on Tiny, but I'd get this 90% of the time. If I was having an absolutely, you know, a really bad lane, a terrible lane, I didn't get many early kills, I'd perhaps skip the Midas and go straight for eggs and then get a BKB. You know, they don't have too much magic damage here. If you look at their team, they've got Crystal Maiden, that's really it. Then they've got Pudge. Pudge isn't really going to do too much to me anymore. Bloodseeker's all about right click. Doom. I mean, Doom can do me through BKB anyway, it's not really a, you know, a big deal. Nature's Prophet, again, mostly right click with his physical attacks. And here we go, picked up Aghanim Scepter, and now just look at me destroy. I've finally got to the stage now where I will turn up to team fights and the enemy team just cannot deal with me anymore. See, here we go, Slark. Actually a really good hook save. He saves the Doom, but suicides himself for that. You know, that was pretty man mode from the Pudge there. But here we go, just walk into combat, boom, one right click, that Doom died. That Doom died absolutely hardcore, and you can see I'm hitting for over 340 damage now. Well, no, 339 damage is that? Yeah, 339 damage. Once I've got you know, the aura effect of the people around me, Vengeful Spirit, for example. If I click on Venge here, see she's got her passive, which gives, you know, bonus damage around. So this is a really good team synergy here. So I'm hitting like an absolute train. I'm hitting for 50% cleave due to my Aghanim Scepter on the ultimate, and just look how fast these buildings die. See, just right click, boom, boom. Yeah, I'm taking buildings down. Just look at Bloodseeker die there. You know, I can kill heroes in 4 right clicks now, and I can kill buildings in 4 right clicks, because don't forget, Aghanim Scepter gives you 75 bonus damage to buildings. So all of a sudden, Tiny, with just this one item, turns into an absolute beast. And by this stage, because of the fast leveling due to Hand of Midas, let's actually get the levels up here. So I'm a level 15. Look at that, you know, level 11, level 9, level 7, level 11, level 9. I am so far over leveled, it's untrue. And just look how quick I clear jungle creeps now. This is why it's really, really useful. If you have a team who stacks camps for you, you know, stacks some jungle camps or stacks ancients for you, you can get so much farm as a Tiny, because you can just basically kill a 4-stacked ancient camp in about 20 seconds. They just die. In fact, probably even quicker than that, to be honest. They just absolutely die. And Tiny is just frightening. And the next item I'm going for now, let's click on my hero. In fact, actually, this is quite a funny moment. Let's just watch this before. So Bloodseeker sees me. He bloods me. I'm still getting attacked by the Ancients. Just look at me kill him. Look at me kill him. And then, like an idiot, I accidentally right-click on the Ancient and die to neutrals. But you see there, you know, Bloodseeker engaged on me when I was at half health. He was at full health. He cast everything he had on me. He right-clicked me. I stunned him. I did my magic damage on him, and I right-clicked him twice, and he died. And this is the benefit of going Midas first on a Tiny, because I'm not sure what Venge is doing there, and you're going to get that courier killed, aren't you? Oh, Venge, what have you done? I was wondering how the courier died in this game. That was obviously at some ballsy diving from Vengeful Spirit there. But let's click back on Tiny now. Next item I'm going for is the Assault Cuirass. Now, the Assault Cuirass is very, very useful because it synergizes really, really well with the rest of the items you want to pick up on Tiny. Don't forget, because of your grow, you do massive amount of bonus damage to buildings. Assault Cuirass is really, really useful because it provides a minus aura for armor around you in a pretty large radius, and this minus armor aura actually counts for buildings too. So you do bonus damage to buildings, and if you get an Assault Cuirass, you lower the armor of those buildings too. So you end up being able just to mow towers and mow racks. So really what you want to do with a Tiny, try and give him a relatively easy lane, try and get him a couple of kills, get a Midas relatively early, and then from there you can just basically push and take towers at will. Because I kill towers in about 3 hits. You know, punch, 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 that tower's dead with a little bit of support. You know, if I get an AC in a team fight with everything, I just do so much. And we saw Bloodseeker here, and just he's trying to run. I would have thrown Slark at him there, but that probably would have killed him. But see, just toss, dead. No, it's so easy. You know, you just hit your avalanche, then hit the toss, and just look at me clear this jungle camp. You know, boom. 4 hits, the camp's cleared. And if that had been stacked by an ally, it would still die in exactly the same amount of time. Just easy. See, the jungle creep actually killed itself due to my craggy exterior bonus there. You saw it attacked me, it stunned itself, it took damage and died. And this is the thing with Tiny. Yeah, I'm sitting now at 2,000 health. 2,000 health. I have plus 10 armor, which is pretty nice. It's going to be even higher once I get my AC. But I have a fairly solid armor. I've got good movement speed with the phase boots and the drums. I've got cleave damage with the Aghanim Scepter. I've got good attack speed now because I've picked up the Hyperstone component of my Assault Cuirass. And you see, just look at me clear waves. This one shot in range creeps now. Even when I'm not in the aura for Vengeful Spirit. You know, I'm not even in this bonus 36% damage, and I'm still one shot in range creeps 27 minutes into a game. And I'm just at the stage now where I can freely farm their jungle, and there's just nothing they can do about this. You know, they cannot kill me anymore. The way to deal with Tiny at this stage is just massive magic burst. Because just look at him die. Look at that Pudge die there. It was just so easy. And just like no hero can live with me anymore. Let's just have a look at the GPM. Current gold, that's the wrong one. Net worth, I'm at 15k net worth. I'm at 607 GPM at the moment. And just look at me clear the racks here. You know, this is even before my Assault Cuirass is done. Just look at the damage one of my right clicks does to a racks. So you can just clear towers, you can clear buildings like they're not even there. It's really easy. And now I've got my Assault Cuirass. It's on the courier arriving to me right now. And this is pretty much GG. Because they have absolutely no way to deal with me here. No way. The only way you can deal with a Tiny at this stage is big magic damage. Because like I mentioned, Tiny is just such... Oh, sorry for that cough. As you guys know, I am feeling a little bit under the weather. So, done quite well to talk for this long without having my voice break once. So that's not a bad thing. But you see, now I've got the AC, I'm up to 25 armor. Every time an enemy attacks me, they have a 25% chance of stunning themselves within that radius. So the only way they can really deal with me is massive burst magic damage. And what I'd probably do normally in this game if, for example, the game was a little bit tighter, or if they'd got a bit more magic damage, is buy a BKB. Because if you give Tiny magic immunity, he's already so good against physical damage. He just becomes unkillable. He really is that sort of hero where if you can get an Aegis of the Immortal on him, he can just solo an entire team. He really is that strong. And you see here, just hit Prophet with the Avalanche. Did you just see the damage I did there? I threw one nuke at the guy and got him below half health. One right click knocked him down to about 5% health, and then he got finished off. How easy was that? Tiny is just a beast, absolute beast. He's such a fun hero to play with as well, because he's a really aggressive hero. You can play right in enemies' faces. You've got big magic damage from your combo. You're tanky. Once you get a few items as well, you're a massive pusher and a team fighter. He's just such a great hero to play with. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching me play with him. I cannot emphasize how much fun it is to play as a Tiny. Just look at the final stats there. I had 743 GPM, really solid XP per minute, especially considering, in a dual lane, obviously the XP is shared. Normally you see mid heroes get the most XP, but what a great hero this guy is. Definitely recommend playing him. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and as always, have a great day.